that was a topic of a lot of discussion when we talked about making it, and you know, the idea was if we were going to do it, you either leave it alone and don't do it and believe that he swam off and liberated himself of this identity and swam off into the sunset at the end of Bourne Ultimatum, into kind of happily ever after, or if you do bring it back, bring the story back, I think you know you have to believe that 5 minutes after he swam away at the end of Bourne Ultimatum, he's tortured by and haunted by the things that he's done, and he can't get clear of his conscience. And so you find him at the beginning of this one, kind of living on the margins. He's out in the cold. He's you know, he's kind of a man without a country, and he's living this kind of itinerant lifestyle, and he's underground, you know, bare knuckle boxing, and he's somebody who's kind of tortured and damaged and running out of road, running out of places to run. Well, I think those are the, you know, we always want to make the movies feel like they're of the time that they're made. And so the last three were very much about that last decade and the Bush years. And the last one we made was the War on Terror, really, you know, and all the issues of the day. This one was very much about the idea of privacy versus security, which is really, I think, the main debate that is, you know, in front of us today, or needs to be in front of us. So that seemed like, you know, I mean, we run the action through the Macedonia-Greece border and into an austerity riot in Athens, and I mean, it feels very much like today. But that central issue is definitely the issue of the day and of the film. Well, you know, you don't get a lot of chances to kind of circle back with a whole group of people and all work together. And so I think, you know, having made however many movies I've made, I know how rare that is, and it's a real kind of thing to, you know, to appreciate and you know, kind of smell the roses. And you know, this movie was more enjoyable to make than the other Bourne movies, because we just had a script before we started, and we had, you know, we were ready, and we knew we had to turn it around really fast, but we knew exactly what the story was, and you know, it wasn't fraught with the kind of abject chaos that some of the other ones were. It was chaotic, as any big movie is, but we knew what we were doing. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm very appreciative of it. I know I can see with some more distance what it's meant for my career and how lucky I was that Doug Liman gave me the job in the first place. It definitely altered the trajectory of my career, and also gave me, I think, some freedom to kind of choose really whatever jobs I wanted to, with absolutely no eye towards whether or not they might do well at the box office. You know, I could take on different things or more challenging things and not really worry about it, because I always had one of these off in the distance that I felt would come back and swoop in and rescue me if need be. So it's just meant a lot to my life, and I've spent a lot of time on these sets over the years. You know, this was a 95-day shoot. The other ones were well over 100. I mean, that's, you know, I've spent years of my life playing this character, so it's a big part of my adult life. Yeah, starting with the death of Franca's character in the second one. He's kind of this wandering samurai, kind of out on his own. And but, you know, look, much like The Martian, you know, people said, "Oh, you were alone the whole time." I mean, you're surrounded by a film crew and all your friends, so it's not as lonely as it looks. Well, yeah, the you know, with a sequel, the really tricky line that you have to walk, I think, is that you have to know what it is people like about the franchise and give them that, but not repeat yourself. So it's got to be familiar, but it can't be the same. And you need an element of new, and Alicia really is that for us. She's a new character. She's a young character. She represents this whole new arena of warfare, of cyber warfare, which changes kind of, you know, the world that Bourne has to run through. because it's a whole new type of adversary. And but like the other movies, we always we try to cast the very, very best actors in the world in all of these other roles. And so she was the very first choice, obviously. And we didn't think we'd get her because everybody wants Alicia Vikander in their movie right now. And luckily she was a fan of the franchise and said yes. So she really gives us a thing that we really need, which is, an exciting and new element, but she also feels like she slots right into this thing that already exists. Well, look, that is always the tough role to cast because you need somebody who can convey a great deal without saying much, right? And the Bourne character doesn't talk a lot. The asset always talks even less, but they all should feel like they're from that same family of warrior that is used to being alone, is used to walking with, and moving with maximum aggression towards their next best option. And Vincent's just, he's just a brilliant actor, and he's got that face that, he's just, he's just an absolutely, you believe every single thing that he does, and that's what we needed. We needed somebody great like that to fill that role, because it's a really important element to these movies. And in this one, we have this kind of, you realize there's some personal connection between the two of them, and and then there's obviously the kind of the big fight at the end, and that was also an important thing. We needed somebody who could move, and Vincent is, he does capoeira, and he's like a really talented martial artist, and so he kind of ticked off absolutely every box and then some for us. So we were lucky to get the people that we got to work with us on this one, definitely. Yeah, all the goodwill I think from the Ocean's movies is probably gone now after we wrecked the strip. But no, Vegas has been great for me, and I love working there, and I genuinely couldn't believe that they let us do this. But I think it was a quiet time of year when we were shooting there. We had the strip from midnight to 5 in the morning, so. It was only during weekdays, so we didn't upset things too much, and hopefully they can be proud of seeing just that. It's just the most mental car chase ever, and I think it needed to be to kind of suit that iconic location. 170 cars we wrecked for that 5 minutes of film. So enjoy.